Joseph, if it hurts, do it more often. I don't know if you've ever heard this phrase before, and it's one of those phrases which has been attributed to many people, though many say it's attributed to Jez Humble. And Jez Humble is one of those people who was part of the DevOps movement. The idea over here was that if releasing code to production is something which is painful, you should do it more often. Previously, we would do this once a year, or once every 6 months, or once every 3 months. And now we're learning that by reducing the release cycles to as small as possible, bi-weekly, weekly, or even continuous development, we can essentially improve our release cycles. Now you're probably thinking, Erica, I wasn't coming to these presentations to learn about agile development and DevOps. I thought this was all about public speaking, right? And you're definitely right. But public speaking is also one of those things where if it hurts, you should do it more often. Now, you've been listening to us mainly today giving educational speeches, though you did take part in the prompt sessions at the beginning of the session. But in actual fact, I would say that the most valuable things in this session is not when we're speaking, but when you get the opportunity to speak. And with that, I'd like to talk to you about the icebreaker. What is an icebreaker? An icebreaker is a speech between 4 to 6 minutes about any topic that you'd like, using your natural speaking skills. So 4 to 6 minutes. The topic can be anything you like. And for example, with an icebreaker, what we recommend is talking about yourself, because everyone knows about themselves, and talking about yourself is generally easier to do than any other topic, though you are free to choose a topic such as a hobby or something that you're very passionate about to talk about instead, and using your natural skills. So this isn't about speaking perfectly. This is about overcoming your fear using the mindset tips that Matt gave us, and just writing down a small speech to give using the tips that Marco gave us. Now, the only thing that I'd like to suggest personally when it comes to these speeches is that I would avoid using presentation media such as slides. And the reason why I suggest this is that slides definitely have their place in public speaking. And in a future session, I will actually be giving a whole session about how to use presentation media such as slides. However, slides are difficult to use, though no one actually tells you that. But when you use them, they can often be used to hide yourself or to be used as notes to remember what you need to say, rather than to enhance your speech and to help the audience. So that is the only suggestion that I would like to give over there. When it comes to writing your speech, I will be pasting in the chat right after my speech some resources that you can look at. However, in general, we suggest a simple structure of an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. And the body usually has 3 points because humans have terrible memory. And if you give them more than 3 points to remember, people will forget things. So 3 points is a simple structure for the body. And in fact, I noticed that Matt used a 3-point structure for the body and he emphasized it. So you actually saw it in action today, whether you knew about it or not. And lastly, I know that you might say, this is going to take time to do. When will I have time to practice? It's a 4-minute speech. The idea is like, keep it simple, talk about something you're comfortable with. And I personally, before this whole COVID thing, enjoyed practicing whilst driving to work in the car. Currently not doing that much driving. So I suggest practicing whilst doing housework or in the shower, or basically those quiet moments in the day where you're doing something mindless, but at the same time, you have a chunk of time where you have the time to practice a speech. Lastly, to talk about logistics, I've prepared a roster, which again, I'll be pasting in the chat after my speech. And you are allowed to swap sessions between yourselves, but it's your responsibility to swap the sessions and let us know. So there will be 4 speeches from each of you in the next 3 sessions, because there's 12 people, so 4 speeches per session. And all that we need from you is that on the day you tell us your title, so we're able to introduce you. Now, you're probably thinking, Erica, in the space of 5 minutes, you've told us what an icebreaker is, how to write a speech, and that we're going to give a speech. I mean, this is like too much information. This is terrifying. But back to what I said at the beginning, that's the point. If it hurts, do it more often. So use the tools we've given you today, embrace the fear, change that fear into excitement, and I look forward to hearing you all speak. I'll paste all the information in the chat and also our email if you need any further clarifications. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing you.